Hello everyone, hope you're doing well today. I'm going to talk to you today about the remineralization, what we've discussed in previous videos, and talk to you about what product I've been using lately to help me with the two cavities that I mentioned on the right side of my mouth in the upper area. Today's product is a very good one. I've had some success with this, I'm happy to say. Today's product is fermented cod liver oil with butter oil, and this has been really good. I've used this for about a month and a half. I continue to use my Primal Life Organics products as well. The gum serum that I mentioned in both videos prior to this one, and also again the toothpaste, tooth powders. Continue to use those products as well because they're very good again with the cavities and with really maintaining the strength of your teeth. That's I remember, I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous video, but one of the dentists, the hygienist that I went to, told me how strong my teeth were after I had started using the toothpaste from Primal Life Organics. So definitely make sure that you're using those products in addition to what I'm saying, what I'm going to be talking about today. Again, so this is the fermented cod liver oil with butter oil. That's a really good combination. This is actually a good product for a lot of things. I like this bottle, this particular brand, because it shows you here, you get the visuals of how this can really be beneficial health-wise. You get brain health, strong bones. It's good for your vision, strong muscles, heart health, and what we're here for, strong, healthy teeth. Okay, so I got this, my first bottle, about a month and a half ago after a trip to the dentist where the same two cavities they said were still there. And so I decided to try the cod liver oil. And so when I got it, I started taking, I did research first to see the best way to take the cod liver oil, and the first thing I saw was to take a teaspoon per day. So after breakfast, the first 2 or 3 days I started that process, taking a teaspoon after breakfast. But then the third or fourth day I was curious. I remembered 4 years ago I did what's called oil pulling when I found out I had the first cavity. And those of you not familiar with oil pulling is the swooshing, it's the same swooshing sensation, or the swooshing motion I should say, that you do with mouthwash. But the difference is, instead of the 30 seconds or a minute or 2 minutes that you use in that process, you do oil pulling for 15 or 20 minutes instead. It's the same motion but just longer, and it's really good for maintaining strong teeth. The main benefit of oil pulling is that it removes the toxins and the impurities from your gums and your teeth, and it's really good for decay. If you have a sensitive tooth or sensitive teeth, I had one sensitive tooth in the back of my mouth back here that when I would drink tea, it would just always activate that sensitivity. So when I started oil pulling back then, that really helped with that. It really alleviated that problem. Back then I was using coconut oil. That was one oil that I saw was very good in terms of the oil pulling process. I've heard people using olive oil as well. That's another one that's very popular. But cod liver oil is the one that I've been using lately, the fermented cod liver oil. And I just want to talk to you about what I've witnessed and what I've seen with these two cavities. I'll start with the first one. I really want to talk about the shape of this particular cavity, the first one. It's, instead of a hole, like a large round hole, this cavity is more like it's this shape. It's a small crevice between the two teeth. It's very small, very slight, which is very frustrating because it's really small, but yet it's still there. And my biggest problem with that particular cavity is certain foods that I eat apples, celery, grapes. These three foods in particular, when I eat them, every now and then the skins in particular with apples and grapes, they would get caught into that cavity. And this cavity, as I mentioned, it's very small, but this particular one, when those skins would get caught, they would get pretty deep. So the skins would go into the top half and then come out through the bottom side of that tooth. So there are times where the only thing that would get that food out would be the dental floss. So depending how deep it went, that's exactly what I would have to do. And so with the cod liver oil, I started the oil pulling maybe on the 4th day of having this particular bottle, and I noticed immediate results. The first thing I noticed was when I put my tongue in the area where the cavity is, I felt these ridges. It's like a U shape all around that cavity. So right then and there, I knew the remineralization process had started to take place with that tooth. And what also was great was I have one of these. You definitely want to invest in, get yourself a mirror if you don't have one, to see if you have a visible cavity or any type of damage to your tooth. This is going to be helpful once you start with the oil pulling with the cod liver oil, to see what changes, if any, are going on with your teeth. What I notice when I see these ridges, I see the patterns of the remineralized portion of my tooth, and of course it's really encouraging. And that crevice that I mentioned has gotten smaller. When I eat these same foods that I mentioned, they don't go that the bottom part of that cavity has completely healed. So when I mentioned before how the food would come down here and then go out on the side portion of the bottom of that tooth, that's completely closed now. This is sealed. And then the food that does go in is really slight. It doesn't go deep down inside. It's just up at the top, and I can literally just take my tongue in and wipe the food away. And of course my goal is to not have to do that either. Hopefully in the next few weeks or a month or two, it'll be completely closed at the top as well. And now the second cavity, there was a little bit more of a space. It was a similar type of cavity where it's a crevice, but it's a little deeper. And so I was more concerned with that one. How am I going to remineralize that tooth? The Primal Life Organics products are great in terms of, like I said, to keep the teeth strong. And I'm sure that if I kept using those, like the gum serum that I mentioned before, and the tooth powder and the toothpaste, those are all excellent, and they're doing exactly what I want them to. And so this is just an additional product that I have to help in that process, the cod liver oil. And so what I've noticed now with that second cavity is that crevice is completely gone now. It's reattached. So this is the tooth that's furthest in the back of my mouth. The next tooth here, this is where that cavity was. The crevice was a larger. You have the space here. Now it's completely reattached to that second tooth. And the same thing, the ridges around, there's a pattern that I noticed on the first cavity. It's the same thing with the second one. And so I'm very encouraged by what I've been seeing and what I feel back there. When I eat the foods, as I mentioned, there's no deep cavity for it to go in anymore. That part is healed. And so I'm really encouraged by what will happen in the future with that first cavity. I hope that in the near future it completely heals, and then I can go back with the dentist. I think November is my next appointment, so I'm looking forward to that. My only complaint with this particular brand is the size of this particular brand here. If you can find a larger jar, that would be great, but you definitely want this combination: fermented cod liver oil and the concentrated butter oil with the cinnamon flavor. And this is really a great product. It came really quick. I got this from a company called LuckyVitamin.com. This is my second bottle. So the first bottle, it came the next day. I was shocked. That's the fastest delivery I've ever had. So that came immediately. This bottle came within two or 3 days. So they're really good about getting you this product quickly. And but yeah, if you can, I would suggest getting 2 bottles of this if you can. It's really good to have them on hand, so you don't have to worry about when one is about to run out, having to rush and get the next shipment. It's good to have at least 2 to start with. Lucky Vitamin does offer subscriptions, monthly subscriptions, so you can just have it come, every month. I believe is what it is, and it's really a good company. And so again, these results, I'm really happy with what I've seen and what I've felt. And I try not to miss a day. I make sure after breakfast is when I'll take a teaspoon, and then after that I begin the oil pulling for remember 15 to 20 minutes. And when you dispose of in the oil pulling process, you want to make sure that you either use an empty plastic bag when you're finished, and you can put the oil in the empty plastic bag. I like to use a empty water bottle. You don't want to spit it in your sink for obvious reasons. You don't want to mess up your pipes in any way. So yeah, those are the 2 methods that I would suggest using. And yeah, this is very quick. That 20 minutes goes very fast when you're oil pulling. So it's just make it a part of your daily routine, and I believe you'll see some positive results. Definitely, you want to see if your cavities are visible. You want to use this to again monitor what's taking place and what's happening. And so I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to continue doing this, and I'll definitely have an update with the next video to let you know what's continued to happen. And any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thank you so much for tuning in to the previous videos, and I look forward to answering any questions, and I'll definitely check your comments after this video. So everyone take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.